Welcome to Weekend Project. I'm Laura Lynn of the Mom and Pop Quilt Shop, and we're very happy to see you this year. This year too, and today. We are working on something I kind of saw as a flat object and yet wanted to kind of stuff it and see what we could turn it into. So when I was working on it, I thought, not only does it look like a tree, it kind of looks like a little gnome face too. But the question is, how do we make it so the eyes can stay in the blank spots? That's another thing we have to think about. So what I have right here is just 4-inch squares of fabric. And then what I did is I folded it on the half, laid it up on my ruler board. Should be able to see that just fine there with the overhead. And then I took my ruler, placed it up to make a corner because I'm making a triangle, and then just came right down here to the other side of the fabric and just went straight up. And that gave me a lovely shaped triangle. Okay, so there's one right there. Very easy. You could do this with really any size of square fabric depending on how big you want to make your project. Okay, so you could do it really tiny, make huge, huge, huge as it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So it almost looks like a bit of a mobile, baby mobile. You could do that too, different colored fabrics and all the way around, do something cute and fun. These corners here are actually going to come up and be attached, so it kind of looks like a tree. But then also in this space here, if this was a hat, this would make a perfect little face. So how do we make a face on something that's not there? So I guess it's just imaginary. You could put bells under here. You could put, even if you wanted to make little faces on the trees, you could put buttons or just embroidery floss or anything like that. It's completely up to you. So I have cut my triangles out, and then you take them and you put them underneath the sewing machine, and on the bottom is where you're going to want to leave your gap for stuffing. Now you don't have to stuff this. It's completely up to you. I thought it'd be kind of cute and, you know, very tactile. And, you know, we can hang it up on the wall, hang it from something that it dangles and it twists in between. Doesn't necessarily have to be for Christmas. It's just a tree, you know, or gnome faces, whatever you, if you can figure out how to put something in the empty spots. So just, yeah, leave your gap in the bottom. And when you're taking your project and you go and you sew all the way around, like I have on this one, you're going to come in and clip really close to those corners, not cutting your threads and not too close that you're going to, when you turn it right side out, you're going to poke right through. So just enough, leave enough of that fabric there. So let's sew these two under here, okay? And then we'll come back and we'll finish off our cute little tree gnome face creation. Trying to use up a little bit of fabric. Okay. So we'll start near the center, but over a little bit towards me, and then we're going to do a little back stitch so that when we go to turn things right side out, it's not going to rip our stitches. We want to come fairly close to the edge, do a lift the foot and pivot, definitely a lift the foot and pivot situation here, all the way up to the top. Don't come too close. You want to make sure you're leaving yourself enough fabric. Last thing you want to do is go through all this effort and then poke through because you didn't give yourself enough material. Okay. And I'm just using a 2.4 stitch allowance, or seam, sorry, a stitch. Sorry, I don't know where I'm going today. It's been one of those days. Okay. And that's how we get all the way around. I'm going to clip our little threads. And then to clip our fabric, we want to come in at, you see the corner is right here, right there at the tip of where my scissors are. So I want to come in a little bit this way and then come in a little bit that way. So you can still see where the tip is, the corner of where my sewing, my sewing thread is, but that bulk of what I just snipped off is not going to be in the corners, which is going to make them round if we don't clip it. Okay, so a little bit. Try not to come too close. If you do, you can always just stick it back underneath the machine. Do another little seam allowance. Okay. And then from this part here, you take it. I just kind of put my thumb on the inside in the hole, and then I kind of scoot the fabric down towards my thumb. So I get my my thumbnail or the beginning of my thumb inside the top hole, and then turn it with my index finger, poke it out. Kind of looks like a little bit of a nun's hat. And then just pull the edges down. And that kind of looks like a rocket ship. And then you can use your tool, your poking out tool, or a pair of dull scissors, or maybe even a chopstick or a skewer, something like that, to get up there and poke your corners out. Now, some you may find a little bit more stubborn than others. You can always come in with a nice big needle, like something that's pretty sturdy, and you're going to come in and you're going to get really close to where those threads are and just kind of pull up in the center, and that'll help make your corner nice and pokey. You know what I mean? Make a nice corner. See, that's a bit rounded. So I'm going to kind of come in here and kind of grab a bit of that fabric and then just pull it out just a smidge by that tip of the needle to make it rounded. To not make it rounded, sorry, to make it pointed. Okay, so just, you can fiddle with it. You'll get it. Takes a little bit of practice, but you can do it. Okay, and then from there, we take a little bit of Fluffies, which is, I guess, polyfill. Just regular, it's very, very light. You can also, if you had a pillow you needed to recycle, you could give it a good washing and then take, if you had any poly in that, use that to stop, reduce, reuse, recycle. So, but definitely wash it first. Maybe give it a little bit of a bleach or something. Okay. And then you can, don't stuff it too hard. You just want it just stuffed enough to give it that kind of a 3D dimension of a puffy tree. Okay. Or a puffy gnome hat. I saw both, so I was still trying to figure out how I can make it so the eyes dangle or something. It seemed a little creepy, but I don't know. Like, what can we do? We may just have to make like a triangle quilt where that space is actually filled with something, and that's where we make our faces. So I like to try and do something Christmassy each month to prep myself for December. So you'll see some Christmassy stuff coming along the way. We'll try and get something that's, aimed towards Christmas or that season, the winter season, and gifts to be able to give to somebody. Because people have birthdays throughout the whole year, and maybe Christmas is their favorite season, so why not make them something? Make them something for Christmas. Make them something for Halloween. Whatever you like. So once that's all stuffed, to your satisfaction, it's not too big, it's not too small, it's just right. You're going to take a needle and thread with a little knot on the end of it, and this is how I tie my knots. I'll clip that one off so you can see. Maybe, I don't know, maybe not. Okay, I take it and I roll it around. I wrap it, hold it here with my thumb and my index finger. I hold it in between, I kind of wrap it around, and then I roll the two together as if I was rolling dough across a counter. And then I put my middle finger up next to the thread, and I kind of pull it down in between those two, and you end up with a little tiny knot, okay? Usually. It takes some practice, but that's okay. You got it, you got it. And let's load our little trees up here, because this is going to go like this, and then like this, and then we're going to add somebody in here, and then we still have this guy to stuff. Oh, we got this way to stuff. It doesn't matter. I was going to make a couple. So, and then for stitching it closed, you want to come in really close where those stitches were, almost tucking the knot in the inside where the batting and stuff is. Sorry, need my old lady goggles. And then you can, however you wish to close this is completely up to you. I've been doing like a little back and forth. I take a little bit from that side, pull it taut, scoot over, take a little bit from that side, staying really, really close to that folded edge, oops, that I have created for the stuffing to go through, okay? So whether it's a ladder stitch, a blanket stitch, a back and forth stitch, a locking stitch, whatever it is that you want to get it all done, go for it. I think this would also be a lovely project to do in felt, and you're using embroidery floss to blanket stitch all the way around the outside. I think that would look very, very nice. So definitely that's a fun hand project there. You don't need a sewing machine at all. Fun project for the kids, and especially because it's a bigger needle that you're using as well, and you're sealing it up, and then just before you get to the sealing of the bottom, you're going to stuff it. So, cute. Oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry. It snuck right up on me. Apologize. All right, now we're just going to keep just whipping that opening closed. Okay. Like I say, you could use some bells, you can use some decorations, put some little tiny baubles, whatever you want. You can do all sorts of fun things. Okay. And I just used one thread, I didn't double up the thread. Okay. Okay, and then just to seal it off, you kind of come in just a little bit, make a tiny little hoop, and then come through that hoop with your needle, and then pull taut, and then you tuck right close in there, go up in through the batting and out somewhere near where it's not going to, the thread is, you'll never see the end of the thread. It's all tucked up on the inside, okay? Okay, so now we know how to make one. Now let's put them all together. Oh, I got to seal this one up too. And I got to stuff another one. Oops. Better do that too. Okay. So come up in here. Oops. Pulled too tight. Okay, and then just whip it closed. Use tiny stitches because you really don't want to see them. You could also use matching thread to the project you're working on, whether it's green or blue or what have you. I think I got a loop in there. Oh well. But I think doing felt with a contrasting embroidery floss would be quite beautiful. I think so. And you can make these as big as you like. Could you imagine a whole wall? People are like, oh, what'd you do during your, year? Or this, I made a huge tree wall. With a sample of all my fabrics. I think it's fun if you can make them either all one color or make them all different. I think maybe even a two-tone, like two different colored fabrics. I think that would look nice because of the way the odd numbers go within this project, right? So, all right, so tied in a knot, come through the project, and snip. Okay, so we have one more to stuff. So let's stuff that one and seal it, and then we'll put all our buddies together, okay? And stuff it. Beautiful little star fabric there. Okay. And you can also use like a dull pencil to kind of maybe get your fabric in, or your batting in, and then even kind of squishing it up a little bit into those corners. Just a smidgy. It doesn't, you don't have to put too much pressure into it. And it's not going to take a lot of batting either. But depending on how big you make your project and how many you make of them. But it's definitely something you can do with your Christmas fabric or your seasonal fabric before it gets put away. Okay, here's another one. Again, just coming up here. Do tiny little whips. It is a beautifully glorious sunny day out. It's a little crispy on the weather-wise. I think it's -8 degrees Celsius, which is not too bad. We do have about a foot of snow on the ground. The driveway is a sheet of ice. And we've done some skating. Kidding. Not on purpose. Now this is a good little fun project you could definitely do on the run sort of thing. Waiting at appointments or what have you. Chillaxing. Waiting for somebody to show up. Or a good project to work with the little ones. They can pick all the fabrics and do the stuffing, and you do all the sealing and the sewing. Okay, and then seal up through. And snip. Put another knot. And now we're going to attach these guys here. So what I was doing is doing the bottom corners first and then coming up to attach it to the bottom corner of the row above. So I would come in here really close to where the tip is. And then here, close to where this tip is. And then putting in about 4 or 5 little just whip stitches. Just Kind of put it really close together because you don't want too far. You just really want the tips of those, the top of the one and the side of the other to really just come together nice and securely. So you just kind of want to stack those stitches right on top of each other. Okay. Oops. It's got a little loop. There we go. Okay. And then up through one of the little bits and then clip. Okay. Let's do the other side. Okay, so lining up that top of the one and the bottom of the other, getting really close to where the center is to start your thread in. Okay. And then just like that, it all comes together. Right. And we just continue from there. We take the bottoms, take that bottom row, we line up which one we want where, what's going to look good. We want sometimes a little pop of color here and there. Don't want too many tones all together. Make sure we got our bottoms all lined up, and then we just stitch here, stitch here, stitch here, then stitch here, 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 and here. And that is the end of the project, really. Take a little bit of embroidery floss, stick it through the very top part of the top tree or whichever you're doing there. Make it long enough so it can be adjustable if needed, and then you just tie a little knot on the end. Just like that. And if you made it long enough, you could take those strings and tie them into a bow. Okay. Oop, maybe not. Deep concentration. There we go. Perfect. Okay, and then you can just hang that from anywhere. Doesn't need any wires, doesn't need any other support because the stuffing and the stitching at these sections really help stabilize it. So put a couple little bells under here, or put bells anywhere in between, put some baubles, just, I don't know, I think it's kind of fun. Need to figure out how we can put faces in here. Do you see it? Do you see the gnome faces? Or the gnome hat that could be possibly the gnome face? It's probably just me. I'm going to finish this off, and we will see you guys very soon. Thank you, everybody, for watching, liking, and subscribing to our channel. We greatly appreciate you. We've grown so much in the past 5 years. It is amazing. I don't think we ever thought we were going to get past 100 people. So the fact we're almost at 22,000, approaching the 25,000 monumental mark, that's very exciting for us. And hopefully maybe by the end of the year we could achieve that for sure. So thank you, everybody. Big hugs to you. Thank you for sharing the video. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for liking. And we will see you tomorrow for our very first 12-hour live stream for 2021. Okay, so January 9th at 9 a.m. Eastern to 9 p.m. Eastern. Hang out with me. We're working on a pixelated snowflake project, and it's going to be fun and exciting, and we're going to make some Oreo cheesecake ball-y thingies in the kitchen. So have some fun. Hang out with us. Chillax. Whatever you'd like to do. We appreciate you. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care and enjoy the day.